So if I had to choose like pest or cholera, Apple or Windows, which one would it be? I don't know, man. I don't know. Probably not Apple. Is there a different system that I can use though? Like, can I put Android on a desktop computer? Maybe. I don't know. No, I would not become a tablet user. I will never be a tablet user, by the way. I think doing everything on a tablet, especially like drawing and shit, like I have a drawing pad for that, by the way. Doing everything on a tablet, that is like just next level idiocracy. Or giving a tablet to your kids. Do not give tablets and large phones to your 5-year-olds. I have a 5-year-old. She has a phone. For emergency, not for entertainment. They don't need entertainment on screens. They need entertainment on trees. All right? Let them climb trees. They will not... I will not promise you anything. Maybe your kids are stupid. I don't know. Anyway... Apple or Windows? Why am I even asking this? Oh yeah, because people will click it. Thank you, by the way, for your support and your interest. And if you like Linux content, freedom stuff, me roaming in the wild, and minimalism, then subscribe. Anyway, I have been working with the Windows machines for a long time, like from when I was 5 years old, working, right? From when I was 5 years old, I had my first Windows computer, or MS-DOS at the time, and then I had Windows to toy around with until I was, I don't know, 20-something. And then I think around 2010, I made the switch to Linux. So I also used Windows parallel to my Linux, right? I had a dual boot computer, which was kind of annoying on a RAID 0, and don't get a RAID 0 if you're not backing up your data, by the way. So I had that for quite some time for commercial purposes, like working on stuff, and also for university, because for some reason everybody used Word for everything, and we didn't have Google Docs back then to open these fucking documents, and LibreOffice was also not quite there yet, so I didn't use that quite that often. And then Apple, well, I was forced to use Apple computers in like a side job that I had, and I worked in a design studio, and they did everything on Apple computers because, Adobe. That was the only reason. That, and we have always used Apple, and Apple is superior, something like that. Back then, everything was coming out first for Apple machines, and that is why they wanted that for their professional shit. And also, one department of physics, sadly, at my university, they had, like, not the whole department, like a subdivision of theoretical physics. Can it get worse? They had like a deal with I don't know what company, and they got these Apple computers for a lower price or something, and they thought it would be less work to set them up and maintain like a little server cluster. Surprise, that was not less work, it was more work, and it sucked and everybody hated it. But then, eventually it's like when you're brainwashed with some song and you hear it for the first time and you think that this song is stupid, I don't want to listen to it, and then you switch off the radio and you turn it back on, the song's back on, and they just bombard you and brainwash you with this song until you're like, well, it's not that bad, and then after a while you start humming this shit. It's the same with computers, it's the same with everything in life. You're just being manipulated into, Stockholm syndrome. You didn't want it, but now you gotta deal with it, so you might as well make the best out of a shitty situation. Like, yeah, I'm not comparing a hostage situation with having to use a Mac. That's not it. That's not what I said. But it's like a similar psychological issue, as in, if you have to deal with something, you might as well make the best out of a shitty situation. Anyway, back to comparisons where I don't fry my own brain cells trying to wrap my head around that. Yeah, university and the design studio, they used Apple computers. Besides that, I have seen other people use them, and I have tried to take a photo on an iPhone and then and enter my contact data. Compared to Android, I don't know how these people function efficiently. I honestly do not know, because and what is intuitive about it? It does not seem intuitive to me. Maybe this is like the discrepancy that we have between people who who know how to program code and people who don't. Because maybe we're just thinking so differently. Like for me, it's completely appalling to have a Mac machine in front of me, and I feel like this thing is trying to babysit me and keep me from doing my work. Versus when I have like, I mean, you can say about Android what you want, but it's more efficient than Apple. And if you are an educated user, maybe the target audience of Apple is just freaking noobs, and that's why it works so well. I don't know. But then what's the target audience of Windows? I do not know. Better secretaries, stuff like that. Project managers. I don't know. But if I had to pick one, yeah, it would be Windows. It would be Windows just because of the whole philosophy behind Apple. And you know, for a long time, I had these disputes with hardcore Apple users who were like, yeah, but the company's actually good and they're like nice and woke and friendly and whatever. And then they do a lot for their employees. And look, they are in this green, eco-friendly, even market stock thing, you know, when you buy funds and there are these funds lists and they say like, oh, invest in green companies or invest in fair companies, and then Apple is always listed in them. Yeah, Microsoft is always also in there. Like, are all the other companies so much shittier than those? How does that work? I'm not buying Apple stock. Anyway, then what I want to say? Oh yeah, anyway, I was always looking for like a reason to debunk this whole Apple is such a good company thing, and to put a finger on why I just always found Steve Jobs completely off-putting and unlikable. Like he always had this fucking dork energy, and it's not like I can go around and say, you know, don't buy Apple products because this dude seems like a total dork and I don't like him. And like, by the way, Bill Gates too. Dork 1, Dork 2, don't buy dork products. So I try to put a finger on why I hate this company so much and why it stinks like from the top. And I never could until I discovered Louis Rossmann's videos. And boy, did I like them. Because finally I had ammunition to take my shot at Apple and say, look, this is why I hate them. This is why they're not sustainable. Fuck them. And I want to share this playlist with all of you, so it will be in the pinned comment, and there you can watch all the videos that give you all the reasons why you objectively should hate Apple. And I also have a whole blog entry on it because I had time to write one a while back. I wouldn't have time now, but then I did. But essentially, to be completely honest, it comes down to sympathy for me. Pest, cholera, I don't know, cholera is treatable. I would not want to use a product that, you know, I just find completely disgusting, which is made by somebody I also don't like. You know, whenever I buy something, I want to support a company that I like. And it's the same with software. So when I find out that a certain free product is from a person that, you know, is cool and chill, and I think like this is a friendly developer, or this is a very gifted person who just does the right thing, then of course I want to support that. But that was not the question, right? The question was pest or cholera. So yeah, let's put Bill Gates and Steve Jobs in some corner where they can chill like on an island or something and not think about these idiots, and take a look at the software. Software wise, and like which one do I trust more if I want to, I don't know, watch some game. I don't watch sports. Oh, let's say I want to watch the figure skating Olympics. All right, I want to watch them. Winter sports, figure skating, maybe some speed skating. That has been fun lately. If you haven't followed the action, just enter speed skating or a short track, and then you will see what I mean. It was fun. Let's say I want to watch figure skating, and there is this one skater I want to watch the show in real time and make sure the computer doesn't crap out on me. Which system would I use if I couldn't use Linux? Because I remember that Rossmann, in one of his videos, he said, like, if I had to pick a machine to watch, I don't know, whatever football game or stuff he was into, and if you wanted to be sure it's in real time, it doesn't just stop right in the middle when they make a goal, or I don't know what it is called, because I don't know how football works, and I also don't know how baseball works. So these are not European sports. I know soccer, I know handball, running, swimming, marathons, that kind of stuff. Football, baseball, rugby? No. And so he said if he had to pick one, he would choose some MacBook. And I wouldn't do that because I trust my system enough, and also like sports game, whatever it is, like if it's not my own daughter competing in the Olympics, I don't care. Why? Like if I see her in some contest and I couldn't be there in person, which I doubt, like would have to be in the hospital, and I would watch that on a screen, I'd still use my computer because like I don't have any other computer. I only have Linux systems in the house. Maybe I would use my Android phone as a backup, but honestly, it craps out on me more than my computer does. And that's rarely ever. Also, the question for something like that would more be a question of how well does a browser work on a system? Now, I understand that Windows and browsers is not the best historic example, right? But I don't know. I don't think that's really platform dependent. Like you can get a Firefox with plugins that work on any system, can't you? But I guess the main difference for me between Windows and Mac, and why I just hate Windows 1% less maybe, I don't hate it, I just find it a little less stupid. That is because of the compatibility and versatility that Windows has compared to Apple. And secondly, the price tag. It just doesn't seem very ethical to me to make something more expensive than it needs to be if it doesn't even offer premium quality. Like a metal casing isn't premium, that's just vanity. It's not really functional, it doesn't really cool the machines well, so that doesn't count. Anyway, I do think that those two are getting closer and closer to each other. As you can see, like Windows introduces subscription models and introduces hardware solutions as well. They want to go down this ecosystem route where you have your Microsoft apps on a tablet, a phone, and the computer, right? Same as Apple. Google does the same. And so I am really not a fan of that. Any subscription model, I just think it's stupid. I want to own this shit. I want to use it and tweak it like I please. And I don't really want to ask for permission whenever I want to download something and have it offline. Like on a fundamental level, I'm just not a fan of online applications to handle office stuff, typesetting, calculations. That is all stuff that I want to do locally and not on a web application. The delusion that it is okay now because it is getting faster just takes away from the problem that it's not safer or technically superior, because what you can do on your local computer will always be superior unless you need a cluster to do some calculation, and that is like if you need to book calculation time, sure, but when do you need to do that? Like a standard web browsing, online shopping basic user, or a programmer that does not do very complicated models. No? Anyway, fuck Apple, fuck Windows, go Linux. That's it. Like a metal casing is not premium. That's just stupid. Pest or cholera? I can only say that Louis Rossmann turned me on not just finding Apple stupid, but also starting to hate it. So, because whenever I say that I just fucking hate Apple, not just the computers, because they obviously don't do what I want them to do, so it's just a user profile problem, like, right? I don't hate Apple users, although I think they're not boyfriend material. You know, if I had to pick a person to be my spouse and they were an Apple user, I don't know, I'm really very much a cat person.